So ICE raids school, black man collapses in tears, and then CNN compares agents to slave catchers.
I can't handle this, y'all. This is crazy, yo. I didn't think this was about to affect me like this. But our neighbor's school, y'all know I work at a school. Fuck. Our neighboring school, I think it's Gratas, I don't know how to say it. It's Gratas or something like that. They were having their graduation. And there's helicopters in the sky. Most of these schools are... Fuck, yo. Most of these schools are predominantly Hispanic. Most of these schools are predominantly Hispanic. Gratas, I believe elementary, was having their graduation. And all of a sudden, a bunch of parents have to run out because ISIS is there. This is the story that I'm hearing. And, you know, our school goes on lockdown. Our principal, you know, tells us it's a drill, but we know it's not a drill. And, you know, I had to come outside. It's my break. We kind of got like off of a soft lockdown. And, you know, parents had to run out because they don't have papers. And they had to leave their kids because the kids do. What type of shit is this, yo? And then kids are freaking grabbing teachers and crying on their leg because they don't know if they're about to see their parents when they get home. What the fuck is this? And we voted for this shit? 15 people just got picked up on Wilshire at the Home Depot. On Wilshire. Yo. Man, oh my God. This is not...
Now, I'm human enough to say, like I always say, I always get kicked in the back for it. There's a level of compassion and empathy that I have for those children and everything. However, there's also one thing not being talked about, and that's the lack of accountability for these parents. I mean, if they been here all these years, had their child and have their child in school and all that, why haven't they went through the proper channels to get what they needed to get done? I mean, we learned in videos prior to this, people been here for generations. I want y'all to see this comment up under here. All that black on black crime in LA and you crying over some illegal immigrants. Somebody else said, I thought you was Ja Rule for a minute. Now look, this is where we got to be grown about it though. Okay? Understand you've seen what you've seen, but let me show you how we got here. Then I'll show you what they're not saying. Check out your man. Who is this?
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half-century. And to those members of Congress who question my authority to make our immigration system work better, or question the wisdom of me acting where Congress has failed, I have one answer. Pass a bill. If you're a criminal, you'll be deported.
Now that was Barack Obama. Yeah. That Barack Obama. Saying if you come here illegally, you'll be sent back. Saying deporting criminals was a priority. Nobody was calling ICE slave catchers back then, were they?
We can always go back to January 6th and ask why weren't the National Guard called in then when police officers were being attacked?
I can tell you why. Hold on. I can tell you why. Go back to Nancy Pelosi's own words.
The president had an opportunity.
Because I think you're an honest man. Hold on. I want to go on first. True or false? Did they say to Nancy Pelosi that if you want to go ahead and bring in the National Guard and others, we will more than happy do that. And Nancy Pelosi was the one that said no.
The president
True or
fanned the
false?
flames in
True or
every...
false?
January 6th?
Yes. Beforehand, they said, we will give you the resources before January 6th, and she said no.
Every
Guys, everybody, just 1 second. Let me just get everybody one at a time.
Am I right?
I want John to just answer that quick question.
The chief of the Capitol Police went to the architect of the Capitol and the sergeant at arms from both houses. The chief of the Capitol Police does not know who they went to, but let's assume they went to their political leadership.
Pelosi said this.
And
that's what she said.
And that they said they didn't want the National Guard brought in. They wanted them on standby. The day of the riot, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are on the phone saying, can we get the National Guard?
You see how fast they try to rewrite history? Y'all see this? Now, Ferguson is completely right. There's footage of Pelosi being offered the National Guard before January 6th. She said no. That's documented. But now it's like nobody wants to take the responsibility. And somehow this ties back into the same voices now acting like ICE is some rogue agency. Y'all, listen to what this man said. Please, I'm going to put it on the big screen even before I started. Hold on.
Now that folk have their red meat, now that they're going to see the spectacle of quote-unquote L.A. on fire, which it's not, right? What will happen? Will he activate the ugliness that got him in office in the first place? Will folk now declare why they love him? Because we know that he's always good on the immigration question. And then the second thing, this reminds me historically of it's not a clear analogy, but when the nation, when these political factions divided the nation in between slaveholders and slave catchers. When they made everybody with the fugitive slave law, all of us had to, if someone escaped, all of us had to return that particular piece of property to these folk. With ICE running around L.A., forcing people to make choices. Will they protect their friends, their neighbors, their family members? Will they confront these folk and they're terrorized? I'm sitting here trying to figure out, right, what will the country stomach? Are they going to allow this man to do this? And the answer that I keep coming to is yes.
Say more.
I don't know what else to say. How can I? Here's the thing. Donald Trump, as a political charlatan of sorts, gives Americans license to be who they really are. They don't have to pretend. And when you see what they really are, who they really are, these people who support him, right? It's dark.
I guess my hope.
Wow. Let me be real clear here. Very clear. Comparing ISIS slave catchers is reckless. Very reckless. That's a slap in the face to every ancestor that ran from actual slavery. Disrespectful, might I add. ICE isn't kicking down the doors of Black American families who've been here for generations. We're protected by the Constitution, first of all. And if we were to get deported, where would we go? Here. ICE is arresting people crossing illegally. Many of them tied to gangs, trafficking, drugs, or skipping a court date. That's not slavery, man. That's law enforcement. Y'all still with me? All right, let's keep peddling this thing back real quick. Check this out.
Someone asked me if I support the protests that are going on in LA. I 100% do. Please keep going. Burn down your own backyard if you must. You know why? Because this right here is the greatest campaign ad that this side never had to pay for. Y'all motherfuckers out there in Los Angeles throwing a full-blown fucking tantrum. Like y'all just crawled out the Rio Grande, screaming death to America, in a country that gave you the fucking freedom to do that shit. You were born at Kaiser Permanente in Burbank. Stop it. You ain't El Chapo, you're Chris from Pasadena. You ain't cartel born. You were Target born with a Costco membership by age 5. Half you motherfuckers protesting ain't even Mexican. You're American with Mexican heritage. And a tattoo of the Virgin Mary you got on a Vegas bender. Don't get it twisted, I respect the heritage. But flying a foreign flag while shitting on the country that gave you the fucking freedom to do it, that's not pride. You don't even go to fucking Mexico unless it's for spring break. in Cancun with a passport you got from the U.S. government. And you won't go live there. Why? Because you like your DoorDash. Your 7-Elevens, your air conditioning, and your freedom to scream dumb shit without a cartel rolling up on your motherfucking ass. And let's be honest, ain't nobody screaming death to Mexico while flying an American flag through Guadalajara. You know why? Because that's how you end up in a back alley, starring in Cartel TikTok Season 3. Meanwhile, the rest of America is sitting back watching you block freeways during rush hour, destroying businesses, wearing $300 fucking Jordans, screaming about injustice in the city with the most social programs and diversity hires in the fucking country. Y'all are the political version of throwing a Molotov cocktail at a fucking Prius because you're mad about gas prices. So listen, I'm not mad you're passionate. I'm mad you're dumb. And your dumbass behavior is helping the other side more than a Trump rally in Texas with free brisket. Every time y'all riot, loot, tearing up your own shit, you're just birthing another red voter. So yeah, I support the protest. Keep fucking going. Keep flying flags of countries you ain't got the fucking balls to move to. And shitting on the system that literally gives you the right to shit on it.
Facts. I mean, he said it harsh, but he's not wrong at all. Some of the loudest people waving these foreign flags wouldn't last 24 hours in these other countries that they supposedly repping. Just being real. It's wild. I like what he said, though, man. Folks raising here in America, we got DoorDash on our phone, you know what I'm saying? But you got these people screaming death to a country that feeds them. I figured I can throw a little twist on what he said right there. Now, I want y'all to check this out. Are these protests not organic?
I hope y'all know those protests, aka they're not organic. Now, I done told many of y'all this before, but I'm going to repeat it because I have so many new followers. My husband and I joined the Black Lives Matter movement, and that's when I woke up to pay protesting. I had never joined a big movement before. I had 10,000 people on my live. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I was happy that I joined that movement now, looking back on it, because I could tell that we were emotionally controlled into believing in it. But I'm happy that I did go because I got to experience some things and come back and tell the truth. It was a setup. Bricks was already in the road. 10 trash can barricades already in the road. And the paid protesters stuck out like a sore thumb. They standing back looking like this. And them folks that's agitating these protests are not even from the area. Clock it. Therefore, for experience, for knowledge, and for truth, join some of these protests and see it with your own two eyeballs. Every last one of them will make you think about Sandy Hook and the Boston bombing. The government and these rich folks ain't shit. And the government know they doing it and they ain't gonna do shit about it because they need to set the stage for the next election. They got to have issues for votes. Same damn thing going on with these wars. Only a fool profit off of war. Quoted by Sun Tzu, The Art of War. And all of it is done at the expense of civilians. How sick.
She might sound extreme to some of y'all, but she's not the first to say this. You got bricks showing up. Protest props are being laid out for you. People don't even know that these people don't live in the neighborhood. They're stirring everything up. It's not crazy to ask, who's organizing all of this?
This is wild. A mysterious black truck just passed out all of these expensive bionic face shields to protesters in LA, and the news caught it on camera. I zoomed in and found out this is the UVEX bionic shield. These are not cheap. They're around $45 to $65, and you can't just get them in bulk. But one place that sells them is Walmart. And why is that important? Because there's a new protest being promoted called No Kings on June 14th. And even celebrities like Chrissy Teigen are posting it. And it's in magazines and newspapers. And guess who's behind this message? Christy Walton. That's right, one of the billionaire heiresses, a part of the Walmart family. Now, I don't know why they would be behind that protest against President Trump, but remember, just less than 3 weeks ago, President Trump tweeted about the whole tariff situation, saying Walmart should stop trying to blame tariffs as the reason for raising prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars of last year, far more than expected. Between Walmart and China, they should, as is said, eat the tariffs and not charge valued customers anything. I'll be watching, and so will your customers. So, is it possible that maybe the Walmart family didn't like that, and now they're finding ways to make their voices heard? Or is this just a big coincidence? As always, let me know what you think about all of this down below.
Great question. Y'all should definitely answer that in the comments real quick. Walmart heirs funding a protest? I thought that was cool. I thought, they was backing the DEI removal. This ain't grassroots, though. That's corporate warfare disguised as activism, if you ask me. And it just happens to line up with a Trump terror fight. You connect the dots, okay?
We have some breaking news, guys. As history repeats itself, we obviously know that any of these rioters, these protesters, never comes out organically, okay? It is always paid protesters and rioters, and we were absolutely right once again. 2 days ago, I went looking for Craigslist ad. I could not find it because usually they put it under peaceful protest. Well, this time they had it under disguise as general labor. They were looking for construction guys to build a building, apparently, but Right Angle News was able to find it, and this is what the ad says. Let's get into it. The ad is, again, disguised under general labor. They are looking for the toughest badass in Los Angeles County. They are seeking extremely tough, brave men for new crew in building. Compensation starts at $6,500 to $12,500 per week. We are forming...
Hold up. Hey, you ain't black if you don't vote Democrat, okay? I'm trying to think of all my liberal sayings I can think of. Hold on. Democrats might, boy, they I'm playing.
A select team of the toughest dudes in the area. The unit will be activated only when the situation demands it, but you get paid every week no matter what. High pressure, high risk, no room for hesitation. What's even more wild is that Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, went on CNN to say this.
Last night, I will tell you that it is peaceful now, but we do not know where and when the next raids will be. That is the concern, because people in the city have a rapid response network. If they see ICE, they go out and they protest.
So Mayor Karen Bass is essentially confirming that there is a rapid response team, and this is it. Let's continue with the ad. The ad continues to say, we need individuals who do not break, panic, or fold under stress, and are basically all around kick-ass. Dude, physical strength, speed, conditioning is important, but mental toughness is everything. If you're not the biggest guy in the room, but you're the one people follow when things go bad, that's who we're looking for. We are recruiting those who are already hard, badasses, and ready for confrontation when necessary. However, we can train you if necessary. What we are looking for, mental toughness. You keep a level head under pressure. You don't panic. Bravery. You face danger head on. You don't hesitate. Now, this is just not happening in the state of California. It is actually happening in Texas, too. Here's another ad. So here is the ad that is in Craigslist for city of Austin, Texas. Now, we know that there is another protesting happening in Tampa, Florida. So if you guys should go and find one, post it up, let DOJ know, tag the appropriate people, because we know that every single of these protesters are being paid.
Come on now. $12,000 a week to be tough and ready? That ain't construction work they talking about. I'm telling y'all, that's recruitment for chaos. So don't tell me all this is organic when there's literal Craigslist ads for street soldiers. I want y'all to look at this. Rioters have been given earplugs, gas masks, and water bottles to throw at the police.
And you kind of get to learn what the agitators look like. And I'm seeing a decent amount of them out here right now, always dressed in black, always with face coverings, not holding any signs. And as I told you earlier, Sean, a lot of people were showing up here, and they were being given earplugs, gas masks, water bottles, not to drink. A lot of those water bottles are being thrown. So, unfortunately, it looks like we might be heading for another night of things crossing the line here in Los Angeles. And as we're waiting for apparently more National Guard and more U.S. Marines to head down here to Los Angeles. We're not seeing any of them in the streets. The National Guard, they're basically sitting around federal buildings helping protect them. They're not out in the streets pushing these protesters back. This is all the locals. Everything you're looking at in front of us right now is LAPD. It's not California Highway Patrol. The LA Sheriff's Department is behind us. This is all LAPD. And we heard the chief of LAPD say last night they're a bit overwhelmed. And, that's... Once these agitators come out in huge numbers and LAPD has to constantly respond to different areas, they reported that some of these people were using radios to communicate with each other last night to report law enforcement movements. So it's complicated for law enforcement as well. But this is essentially the game that gets played all night long here. This is the main protest crowd. Police will try to push them back. They kind of melt away like water. We'll go down another alley, reemerge somewhere else. LAPD will get a radio call, have to go respond to them. And every now and then, you'll have these 10, 15-minute spurts where it's quiet, and then people will start throwing water bottles and fireworks again, Sean. But, I mean, you're seeing it in front of us, a lot of foreign flags, and certainly seeming to be kind of a different crowd than what we saw a few hours ago earlier this evening. Definitely, you can feel the tension building. You can definitely feel like as the sun is about to go down here, we could be in for another rough night here in Los Angeles, Sean.
Tell me what's organic about this, y'all. Please. A mysterious truck arrived in downtown Los Angeles and began unloading boxes of face shields. Check this out. Tell me what's organic.
I'm trying to see that doesn't look like food.
Yeah,
and
those
water.
are.
Looks like masks.
Yeah, no, those are masks. Yeah, so people are prepping for some sort of altercation with police as we speak.
Yeah, because, This is a different scene than what
it's intersection, like I.
Yeah. I mean, we saw
at this intersection, like I said, there's no local police. We've been seeing the burnouts.
A very different scene. And are those hats that you wear that are more like helmets? I mean, this is a worrying sight. I mean, Christina's site, which is like very close by, she was describing a festive atmosphere, and it looked like a lot of folks, including a lot of older folks, who were there for the right reasons.
This guy's tagging the sidewalk, right?
This is troublemakers. You probably don't put on a mask unless you have a plan of not wanting somebody to see your face. And so this is concerning.
Well, the woman who was handing out the masks, you see her quite clearly there in that beige T-shirt. She's not covering her face at all. So I would love to hear from her as to what this is about. Alex, you do bring up the fact that this could be very concerning. It is a Monday and not the weekend, so you're wondering how many people are wanting to stick around through the evening. Matthew, do you get a feel at all for this crowd? You've been out there for the past couple days.
Yeah, it reminds me of when we got to Paramount on Saturday. Here we have another person doing a little bit of a burnout there in the intersection, where you can feel an energy in the air. It's hard to describe, where it just feels like something's going to happen, and you're waiting for it to happen. And you can look around, you see the National Guard in front of the federal building, but as far as this intersection where we're seeing all this take place, there's no local police to be seen.
Yeah.
And we have people handing out masks and gas masks, and we just saw people graffitiing the sidewalk right in front of this truck, and we've seen people doing burnouts in the street, and there's no local law enforcement around.
Let us clarify, because we've been showing a wide shot and from a different angle, a whole lot of officers on the other side of the federal building, almost behind you, and perhaps the visual is obstructed from your point of view. But I can tell you there are many, many, many LAPD cars and officers there that have staged. They are blocking that freeway overpass, so protesters can't get on that overpass like they did yesterday and throw bricks or concrete or scooters down on law enforcement that was below that had cleared the 101 freeway. So perhaps they're not where you are, but there's a lot of them already positioned there. They're not getting caught off guard by a crowd gathered here.
So, I mean, that was quite a shot that we have there of these folks, and your photographer just gave us a great shot of the box that was left behind, which showed the brand of mask. I mean, it's not the kind of thing, thank you for seeing this there. It looks like a bionic shield is what that's called. I mean, that's not the kind of thing that you buy in bulk if you don't plan on doing something with it.
You're right. You're not handing out $60 ride shields to random people unless you're planning something. And that don't seem like a protest. That's preparation. And regular folks got to deal with the fallout because the media won't ask where this stuff is coming from. Look, y'all, this started with a man breaking down because he's seen families being ripped apart in front of him, so to speak. And I get it. You know, the pain is real, but don't let the pain blind you or any of us from the truth, okay? Don't let that happen. This country has the right to defend its borders. ICE isn't perfect. No agency is. I'm not claiming that, but they're not the villains. They're cleaning up the mess that these politicians created, that these weak policies allowed, and that funded the chaos, you know, that's being fed on. If we really want to fix this, man, we got to be honest first all the way around. Y'all be safe. Please go check on somebody today. You could be saving their life. Peace.